Well, it's unacceptable to be fat.
Okay.
I mean, if I was president, hell, I'd put all of them in a fat concentration camp so they can concentrate on dieting and exercising, because being fat is completely not acceptable.
That's a bag of trash, dude. Pull your fucking shirt
Because
off
I've been.
and tell me you're fucking proud
Because
of yourself.
I've been to fucking prison.
Jesus Christ,
Because
look
I've been
at
to
you,
prison?
bro. You got 10-inch arms and tits.
Do I know you?
I don't know you.
It's serious, guys. We have a problem, and you can be the solution. If you don't live under a rock, you probably have seen the Jubilee video where one of the Fresh and Fit hosts spouts some very out of pocket stuff, and you probably have seen the Wes Watson meltdown on stage, which is also from the Fresh and Fit podcast. And just to say, we have very spiteful men that are offering what sounds a very easy solution for desperate men. But before I go on to a full rant, I'm just gonna throw one argument that already make these people look pretty dumb. In all rom-com movies, is the main character interest yoked or just a well-adjusted man? Methinks you already know your answer.
If you just pay every single time, there's no in the middle interaction. And what's happening here is that now you become a customer, and now there's no emotional attraction, there's no emotional tug, and you are now in a customer frame. And the customer frame says basically, you pay for a service, you get a product, it ends there.
What you're seeing on the screen right now is the receipts from a woman that Walter, one of the co-hosts from Fresh and Fit, leaked for everyone to see how much money he was spending on her, doing the exact same thing he tells his audience not to do.
The honest truth. No cap.
With no cap, we met on Seeking.
If you don't know what Seeking is, Seeking Arrangement is a website for sugar babies, or the male version of that. I'm not really sure what it is. But sugar babies and sugar daddies, sugar mamas to connect and have a conversation and start something from there. These people have lied. They have been lying, and they will keep lying to you because they have a brand that they want to sell you. They don't know how to interact with women, and the only way they are able to have women around them is if they throw money at them. Most of all alpha male influencers do something similar to this. Dan Bilzerian did the same shit, and he is now bankrupt. I can say for a fact that these symptoms of trying to be the biggest alpha male with the most women is not something that started happening in just recent years. I clearly remember being like 12 or 11, and a classmate came up to me with his phone and said, "Yo, look at this. This man is a legend. Look at all the women he has." And it was a picture of Dan with some women he paid off to pose with him, and it was like 10, 12 years ago. My problem is not that he paid these women to be there. Like, girl, go get that bag. If a man is so socially inept that the only way he's able to have a conversation with you is to throw money at you, you're doing us a favor by taking his money, honestly, at this point. Because these guys they don't have a backbone. These men have so much money that they could hire escorts and they wouldn't need to go through all these hoops of paying sugar babies and taking them on dates and all that. But no, they prefer to be simps. They prefer to pay girls to be with them because that makes them feel better. And it gives them the idea that this gives them bragging rights because they now have been with so this many women. But in the end, they are all just clowns and cowards and liars. Walter has not only been exposed by one woman though. Another has come to light, and as you're seeing by the message that she leaked, if what she says is true, Walter seems like he's about to be a dad. Allegedly, just to be safe. Now, I want to point this one text that he sent. You fuck women without a condom, but you're not able to take responsibility for the only outcome that can come from that? Are the last two brain cells in your head slapping one another instead of helping you to think? We both thought we wouldn't get pregnant. My guy, that is such a dumb statement. Like, since you are spending so much money on the sugar babies, how can you not buy a plan B at least? Before we get into the whole Wes Watson thing, I just want to say, if you're young, I'm not going to say old, because if you're older than 25 or 28 and you still think like these guys, maybe seek help. But if you're young, like if you're at teenage years, if you are early 20s, I guess, still in college and stuff like that, I would like to say it is okay to be so infatuated with girls. I don't really see that much big of a problem with it. I mean, teenage years, you're so horny that you don't really know what the fuck is going on. You just know that that's something you want. And I think it's just a part of how biologically the body reacts to stuff. There's a lot of hormones going. It is fair. It's okay. But I can assure you that as you get a little older, and I'm not saying 30s, but as you get a little older, you start seeing things differently a little bit. Things start toning it down. You don't stop having sex, but you just take things a little bit more lightly. So tone down on your porn consumption a little bit. I'm not saying you to stop or to stop looking out for or stop searching for kinks or anything like that, but just take a step back, cut it down a little bit. Things are not as it is shown in porn videos or how these guys are showing it to you. Clearly, they are paying a lot of money for these girls sometimes. If you are afraid of being alone, if you think you're unwanted or unloved, if you have those thoughts, I would like to say that with how much social media there is, and the only things you see on social media are happy posts of couples, or how hot that girl is, or oh, look how many girls on the weekend I got, or whatever. I don't know what you consume on your social media. I try to use as little as I can nowadays. But if you do have those thoughts, I feel like most teenagers or most young people a little under 21, 20s, they do have that thought process a little bit. You do want to be accepted. You do want to be loved. You do want to be with somebody. But it's not because you're not with someone that it doesn't mean you're not loved. There is just a lot of things you have to work out by yourself sometimes. Being alone by yourself, understanding yourself is great ways of doing that. You're not unloved because you're ugly, or you're not unloved because you are a little bigger. But what you do need to know is how to interact with people outside of an online setting. And that's a lot what I see nowadays. A lot of people they have the biggest riz online. I feel so weird saying that word. They have the biggest riz online, but are not able to have a simple conversation IRL with like peers. They don't really know how to act. And I was similar to that. I had stages of my life where I could only take so far a conversation online. The only way I kind of snapped out of that is whenever I had social interactions outside of that. And it takes time. It is uncomfortable. It is part of growing. Don't fall into that mentality before you are 25, at least. Give yourself some time. After that, then maybe look for some for some help if you have that much of a thought process on whenever you're 25, because normally you have at least a job at that point and you can kind of develop things a little further. But if you still think the same way, then I would say you do need a little bit of help. And that's fine. Everybody needs, Everyone is awkward on those early phases of your life. Some people are not. Some people do. Everyone is a little different, but everyone is not fully mature until they are 25 or 24 at least. So give yourself some time. Things will eventually figure themselves out on that part of your life. There are certain things that you do need to work for yourself and work to get better. But just because you're alone right now, it doesn't mean that you're unloved. Everyone's awkward. You just need to work out a couple kinks here and there, not necessarily sexual kinks, but like a couple of things on yourself. And then once you are fully comfortable with yourself, things tend to be a little better. My biggest advice for these people right now is do try to tone it down a little bit on your social media consumption, like Instagram, Twitter, or shitter, whatever you want to call it, X. Biggest thing, give yourself time. I was in those situations before as well. I was not the most confident person on myself. And now that I'm a little older, and again, I'm not the oldest person out here. I am under my 30s. I'm a little mid-20s, you could say. Confidence eventually does get better, but you have to just not push yourself so hard onto those things. Learn how reality truly is. And the only way to experience reality is by sometimes getting a job, sometimes talking more outside of your social circle. And those things are uncomfortable. They definitely are, but those things are the things that did help. Besides also getting a little older. Again, someone doesn't mature fully until they are 24, 25, 26. So there are a couple things that are truly just age-related and maturity-wise.
You better have a bad bitch. You better be ripped. You better fucking be rolling some sick shit.
True wealth is a rejection of materialism. As Christ said himself, what good does it benefit a man to gain the entire world at the cost of his soul? It's okay to have materialism. It's not against Christian ethics to become rich, become wealthy. But I just think it's all beside the point, ultimately.
If you ain't fit, you can't say it's not all about being in good
Why,
shape.
why not? How in the world can you create a standard that it's inappropriate to ask somebody, how come if I don't have X thing, because I don't value X thing, does that mean X thing is actually valuable?
You've never experienced it, so you can't speak about
You
it.
think?
I'm just gonna say one thing. If the thing that you text yourself on is if you have a better car or if you have a bigger car or whatever, most expensive car, that is or if you have the biggest, better job or whatever, if that's how you text yourself to get girls, the only types of girls that you'll be getting are the ones that care about what the job you have, what type of car you have, how much money you make. Myself, for example, I am not a ripped guy, but I really do look forward to find somebody that wants to be active with me. And it's just the person doesn't need to be a muscle mommy.
Or sticking to his commitment to get healthy. That's attractive.
So what's the distinction? After you make X amount, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you look at the studies done on this, it does not.
I don't fit no fucking studies.
It does not
bro.
hugely improve a person's life.
Are you proud of who the fuck
Bro,
you are?
why
Now
don't
look
you
at,
even
are
let
you
me
proud?
get-
If you look in the mirror, would you guys say this motherfucker's proud of who the fuck he is? That's a bag of trash, dude.
The guy already said that he has a whole family to take care of. I'm sure there is way bigger things that he has to worry besides taking PEDs allegedly and working out, you know. And he is not even that out of shape, to be fair. I don't know how old that guy is, but if you think you're gonna get on your 30s and you're gonna be looking ripped as fuck, dude. I mean, you can, but you're gonna take a lot of effort, and you know you're gonna have to spend some money on that if you want to. Besides, you're gonna have way other goals in your life besides looking like Jason Momoa or whatever, whoever you want to look as. Like, unless your job is literally working out all the time, like a bodybuilder, a physiculturist, or I don't know, a personal fitness, no, personal trainer. It is doable, but you have other things in life that you're gonna be worrying about. How your health is and other things, not just your physique. You're worrying about building a family if you want to have one. Or if you don't want to build one, you are worrying about buying a house or maybe financing. I'm not at that age again. I'm sure there are other things that you thought that would be different whenever you're 25 and then they are not. And then whenever you get to 30, your goals change and that is fine. It's the same thing as I said earlier. Dude, it is okay to run after women whenever you're young, teenager or whatever. Like your hormones and everything, it does change over time. But focusing only on your physique, and that's the only things that he's telling to this guy, is just bogus, man. Like, it is the only type of like attack he's making. He's not attacking his philosophy, he's not attacking how the way he thinks, or to bring into an argument. It's just how he looks. We literally have gone back to high school level mentality with 35-year-olds or however old this guy is.
But anyway, if you want,
Fuck yeah.
if you want to follow the successful mantra of a man who tells you he was reformed from prison, understand why they might have gone there to begin with. And
To take
yes,
care of a
I
family.
do think.
He did not just say that. Apparently, he spent 10 years in prison for his family, guys. Because present fathers in his stepchildren's lives is overrated, as clearly you can see, you know.
I do think that a rejection of materialism is something missing in society, and I do think that true wealth is the family, and I think that true wealth is having a wife, and true wealth, that is what I think it is, and that is what I think truly success is being able to go home and look your family in the face and know that you're doing everything you can to support them. That's
And then
what
when
I
you
think
go to the
success
beach
is.
with your family, they're like, "There's my stud dad right there, standing there.
Do you have-
that stud right there with
do
his
you,
shirt off?
do you have children?
Look at that
Do you,
stud.
do you have children?
I do have children.
How many?
I have two.
You have two.
While I was doing this research to do this video, I learned that Wes is a stepfather. Nothing wrong with it, of course. I mean, there are many stepfathers that are way better than biological fathers. I mean, the father that stepped up or whatever, you know. I don't have kids. But what he fails to mention is that the reason he's not a father is because he's impotent. The guy that has incessantly been targeting how the other physical person looks is not able to have kids because he has abused, allegedly, so much of PEDs and steroids and such that his balls have shrinked, that he's not able to have kids anymore. By Wes Watson's logic, the other man, this Christian guy, is more of a man than himself because he can fulfill his role as a man in society and raise his kids, his own kids technically. But this, again, I feel bad for pointing these things out because, I mean, he is a stepfather for his kids. I'm not saying those are not his family, but the points he makes are just so fucking dumb, man. I don't think I'm gonna have children, but I have to take my hat off for this guy. This guy has just shit all over Wes by proving how his morals and how much more of a responsible man he is. All the arguments that these men make are insecurities on themselves. They are weak, flawed, hurt men that are not able to live with themselves. So they would rather project everything that they feel. And again, if you're young, go out, go have fun, find yourself, or of course, find yourself a girlfriend if you do want so, but experience the world a little bit more. You don't need to have a job to pick up girls or the latest car. It does help if you do have a job, definitely, but it doesn't need to be the most paying one. Just give yourself some time. Things eventually figure out for yourself, but you do have to work on yourself first. Again, these men are liars. They just have a brand to sell you, and that's the only thing that makes them what they are. You don't know how they are alone, but I'm sure they are not the greatest people. If you agree with me or if you disagree with me, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a dislike if you don't like, of course. Press that subscribe button. It does help the channel a lot. But that's all I have for today. Bye.